And as always, I have Just Mobile Gamer with me. How are you doing today, bud?
I'm doing pretty good. Just got back from picking up my brother.
Awesome. How's he doing?
Good. He's doing pretty good.
Good. Below me on the screen, since we'll just go from left to right, I have GK Jacksoneros. He is a coach for a European team called GK. He's also a cracked player himself. So you should go check some of his streams out. How are you doing today?
Hello, thanks for having me here. I'm doing fine today.
Awesome. And last but not least, we have Toki himself. He is a North American Challenger Baron laner, formerly of Team Family. How are you doing?
I'm good, King. Thank you for inviting me to the show. I'm really excited to be here.
Absolutely, man. The more people, the more pros I can get on, the better. So thank you for coming on. What we really wanted to do is we wanted to take this as an opportunity to help connect the pro players, the pro scenes to any potential fans that might be out there, and just kind of shed a light on people that, or you guys that might not have a light shed on you. Maybe you're not that popular on Twitter or something, or just people don't know you because Wild Rift is such a new sport. It's not got the 10-year legacy of League of Legends. So I am so glad that you can join us today. And today, the topic of conversation is going to be what off-meta picks work. Justin, what about you? What do you think works for off-meta?
Honestly, I feel that if you play the champion enough, any champion would work. But I feel like if you're playing a team like Cloud9, like Sentinels, like Immortals, I think you have to pick some off-meta, some cheesy picks to beat them, honestly. There's this league pro player. He said the only way to beat the top world contending teams is by doing that trick, because it throws them off their game and gives you an advantage, because you know the matchup better.
What would you pick? What character specifically?
Oh, well, okay, what lanes do you want? Mid lane, I have Kai'Sa, AP Kai'Sa mid, I have Soraka mid. I've been told Rammus support is pretty strong, apparently. And yeah, I mean, I have so many champions in the back of my mind that should work in theory, but it's not competitive tested yet, so I won't say too much because I kind of want to keep it as a secret.
Gotcha, understand. Jackson, what about you? What do you guys prep as off meta? Well, I don't want to give secrets away, but what
I don't think I could answer that.
That's a good point. Sorry, I was just trying to, I'm thinking ahead for my team in the future when we meet eventually. What do you see off meta picks solo queue in Europe?
Honestly, solo queue Europe, everybody just plays whatever they like to play. There's always going to be picks that are occurring very often. Top lane Camille, Darius, whatever right now, or Fiora when it's open, or people in jungle keep on spamming Kha'Zix, Lee Sin, whatever. But honestly, I would say solo queue, everything works. I mean, I played on an account in 200 games to Grandmaster, 400 LP with Ezreal mid lane, with W max, and just going AD Ezreal mid lane because you play AD carry that has a safe mid and late game. But even stuff like Nasus top lane, if the matchup is good, if they pick Malphite or Singed, it really just comes down to what your play style and what your idea is with your champion in the lane and in the game itself, and then you just need to execute and hope that you win.
Gotcha.
So you play Ezreal mid. Have you tried Kai'Sa mid?
Yes, I've tried Kai'Sa mid yesterday on stream. Actually, there was one of the coaches in our team. He tweeted about what he believes is the best Kai'Sa build. And I tried it. It's quite nice. I mean, you just have to hit W's.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
the biggest part.
I think it's so broken and underpicked right now.
All right, so I know what I'm spamming in solo queue after we get off here. I was actually playing Kai'Sa Jungle. Didn't work as well as I wanted it to, but hey, Toki, what about you, man? I know we were talking off stream a little bit, and you were talking about Rengar top.
Yes, I use before Irelia came out because I used to be Irelia one trick, right? Because that's like my most played champ on PC and right. I used to play a lot of Rengar top, and I found that it was very effective against like meta champions like Fiora and like Renekton, just because not Renekton, Rengar is able to jump in and out and able to heal back the damage he's already suffered. But the problem with him, like especially now, is because they kept nerfing him. Like let's say like his Q, his passive AD, because he was very popular in like Diamond Elo, right? He was very popular. And so they just kept nerfing him, and then the indirect nerf to Brutal. I think that killed top lane Rengar in a bit because he can still win. He can still win certain matchups, but like matchups like he used to like completely wipe isn't there anymore. And I think that basically killed Rengar top, even though it is still possible if you go like tank Rengar, which I also enjoy playing. It's very fun. But like if I were to pick like a top a top alt meta pick right now, I would have to say something like Garrett Mid. Ironically enough, Garrett Mid is effective somehow. And you know why? Because I seen it I believe it was against a C9 game. My mid laner Cossack Soul hashtag Twitch slash Cossack Soul free promotion. Apparently Garen, right? Since Garen's burst comes from his silence, ignite, and ult, a lot of mages can't fight that. And since Garen's so tanky, it has that HP regen, he can really just shake off some of the damage.
Absolutely. I like taking a lot of things mid lane that probably shouldn't be. Tryndamere was one of my favorite, thanks to Nice. Definitely Garen, like playing for a while, everybody's playing Ziggs mid lane, and Garen would just crap all over Ziggs. Senna mid lane too. A lot of times I'll pick her into Yasuo because Yasuo thinks you can't hit her behind or hit him behind the wind wall when you definitely can. I just think it's a bully champion. Lulu top lane, someone else was talking about. Definitely strong.
I think more people, I'd like this is like a pick for me. I think more people should try out Renekton mid.
Oh yeah,
because his all-in potential is so high, especially with his animation counseling to ultimate. Literally, you can almost 0 to 100 some mages with this ignite. It's crazy.
I've actually seen a lot of Renekton mid in like competitive play and in off meta. Like, not trying to say too much, but Renekton is one of the picks that like my mid plays a lot, and he considers it really strong actually. So I wouldn't say it's off meta. I think it's actually very meta.
I'm not sure how the competitive scene in NA is, but Garen mid, Renekton mid has been kinda in Europe at least for I would say a few months already. Ever since everyone realized how broken Sett is. I mean, even if you didn't believe in Sett, you see him at Horizon Cup, he has like 90% win rate in the playoffs. You kind of have to realize, okay, this champ must be kind of good. And, just pick Garen into it, Renekton does fine into it. So the way I see it is just a good pick into certain matchups. Like Garen mid, I'm thinking, somebody said Garen mid against Ziggs should be good. But if I'm playing Ziggs, I just need to space properly. It's something that a lot of people don't do in solo queue, I guess, but if you space properly, you're just playing like a free lane.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Gotcha.
Real quick, what do you think of Yuumi top lane, Toki? Because that's actually been done before, and playing against it a couple times, it's fairly strong with a Garen jungle.
Yeah, is actually very strong. Just because the fact that like Yumi's top purpose isn't to win like the lane, it's just poking until level 6, right, to surviving, and then you just roam. That's really what you do with Yumi top, and it's so good against certain matchups. But I don't think it's good against like Renekton, in my opinion. Just because even though you can do a combo and Yumi can just burst exhaust you, you can just walk away. Like you don't need to engage on it anymore. And Yumi, I would say she's viable, but you have to be coordinated with your team. You have to be coordinated. Like, you can't just go to a rank game, right? Just pick Yumi top and just auto win the lane. That doesn't happen with Yumi top because that's not her purpose to win the lane. Her job, like you can win the lane, but her job is mostly just to get to level 5, right? Just able to roam, be a second jungler, and you just win the game because you're just power farming your jungler and your ADC.
I mean, that kind of means you need to either jungle or do a Q, or if you're solo queue, just pray that you have a decent jungler that doesn't int.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard if you're just solo and you just don't know the person.
Yeah, solo queue I would never go Yumi top, but Yumi top
Yeah.
in itself I think is quite broken too, especially after the recent buff. It was completely.
Yeah, that shield buff. Oh my god, that's is crazy.
She's our mid laner on our team. Like even though he mainly plays mid lane, he also plays Yumi top sometimes in some of his pre-made ranked games, and he just every single game he gets a solo kill because like Yumi doesn't even have to run flash if she doesn't want to.
Oh, I have a question for you. What you in EU? Do you guys consider Akshan top as a possibility?
I mean, I guess it's possible. I've never seen it in scrims. I've played against the best, or considered best Baron laner in EU, playing Akshan in solo queue. Actually, it was trio queue. I was solo and he was trio queue with jungler, and I don't think Akshan top is critical. Like it's more of a, I guess, OTP cheese pick in that sense.
Yeah, because I feel like Akshan top is like it's very hard to trade against him once he has his passive off because literally he can just burst you down. He has mobility due to his auto attack resets. He got a shield. Yeah, it's very hard to trade against an Akshan for the most part.
So someone in chat is asking, or Ice King YouTube is asking, how do you feel about Nunu Mid?
Nunu Mid. Because I tried Nunu Mid when he first came out. I don't think it's the way to go because I think you get more value if you just go like tanky and you're just a jungler. Like if we go AP Nunu Mid, right? You just go in with your snowball, right? You just go in, and if you just press alt, if you get CC'd, you're just done for the most part. You don't really give any value for the most part.
Go ahead.
Nunu mid just really sounds like you're just gonna always die before you can do anything. Like AP Nunu itself, even in jungle, sounds like you're just gonna always die before you can even charge up ult. Especially Nunu mid. So let's see, you probably have trouble against like the main competitive picks like Zett, for example, probably just kills you level 5. Even in solo queue, if you play against like Diana or whatever, she basically gets like a free lane.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
I think the only time Nunu mid ever works is if you're playing against a mid laner that doesn't have that good of a wave clear. The only way I can see that Nunu mid is viable is that you will almost 100% of the time win the first scuttle fight because of the Nunu passive, and he has good, I guess, roam and gank potential, but the problem is I don't think he has good enough wave clear to make him actually off meta and actually strong enough to do it.
So I don't know if you guys played League back in the day, but there used to be old Nunu before the rework. He had like an attack speed steroid, so a lot of people played him support, but he would often be played mid lane because every fourth attack gave him a free snowball, and that snowball was ranged as opposed to the way it is now. So people would definitely use that and would gank side lanes with it, kind of like AP Evelyn mid, Kha'Zix mid back in the day. But yeah, with that being said, I want to pull in the first caller. I guess that's what we'll call him. Archer. Hey, Archer, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, cool. Thanks for having me on the show. It's
Thank you for coming.
I like what you're doing. It's cool to see people actually trying to involve the community. So I'm glad. Is it Toki? Your name?
Yeah.
Toki?
Yes.
I'm glad you brought up Rengar top because I feel that's being really slept on. Like if you go fleet footwork, it's just an instant win in lane. And that's probably like my favorite off meta pick. Other than that, I think Veigar support should be more of a thing. Because the meta right now with everybody going full AP as a support, it's just good. And it cancels out a lot of that. Like if you go Veigar support on a brand support, you win. Because if he tries to poke down with Event Horizon, you can spam your abilities and then your ADC kills him. And it does work. Like 90% of the time, it's a win. I went from Platinum 4 to Emerald 4 with just Veigar support. It's very viable. Very viable.
Okay, so as a support main, I've only actually faced off against Veigar and played Veigar only like maybe 1 or 2 games. But I think it is decent if you're playing into like an engage support, like someone like Alistar, where like your cage creates enough zone and CC to like stop him in his tracks all the time and stops him from engaging. I think it's something that's very hard to pull off, but if you are a Veigar one trick who knows the matchup, knows the range, I think it actually is very possible to play Veigar support.
Okay, I have one question. What do you do on Veigar support if your opponents run Merc Threats plus Tenacity Rune?
Yeah, that's what
you
I
just
was...
say, okay, go next, or...
See, the point of Veigar support, just intimidation. Because if a Veigar walks into a team fight, it's like most people expect to get one shot, but they don't. And so they blow a lot of cooldowns on trying to escape Veigar. And then if you have like a really good, it opens up a lot of high damage mid laners and a lot of if you have a lot of CC on your team, they're going to blow all their cooldowns and everything they have just trying to avoid you as Veigar and then get demolished by your team.
See, I know for
it's really more like a fake out.
I know for a while Pro Scene was in League of Legends, Pro Scene League of Legends was running Veigar support a lot. I've seen it work just because the cage is so terrible to deal with. I hate Veigar because of that. And I would imagine if you were playing something like you said with tenacity lower that actual duration of crowd control, then it might not be so daunting. But I swear I've been like frozen inside of a Veigar cage, flashed and hit the wall on the other side, got stunned again. I swear that has happened to me. I'm not sure if it's a broken mechanic, but it's absolutely overpowered. And I think it's kind of like if you play it like Ziggs, where you control a zone as opposed to just trying to nuke a single target, you're going to have a lot of success with that.
Well, like when have you ever actually just tried to specifically just stun one target to combo them? I mean, if you're playing Veigar mid, like that's what you're trying to do, but like zoning is just way more better. Like just trying to purposefully not stun them, but zone them. It's a lot more. It's a lot more beneficial to your team, and that's the point of Veigar support, is to just carry team fights and just put your team into a position that they can win.
Do you not think there are better like intimidation supports like Thresh, like Blitzcrank, who carry like if not better threat than Veigar support? And
but that's why it's good, because if you're playing Thresh, the opponent knows the threat. Like they know to avoid you, but with Veigar support, like nobody thinks it's that big of a threat. And like I learned from experience by playing it, like people will walk up to me just thinking they can kill me, and then like they're dead in like a millisecond. And like it fools everybody.
I mean, how do you want to get stacks on Veigar? I actually played Veigar mid lane when I was like this season. I hit challenger this season, and I thought to myself, okay, let's try Vega mid lane. Maybe it works, whatever. And I dropped to, I think, 200 LP from 700 playing Veigar.
Well,
With
the
like
thing
good
about
KDA, good gold per minute,
Yeah.
but just bad win rate because of
Wait, can I
Yeah.
say something about this?
Yeah.
I like the idea, right? But my problem with that, like, I think he's better off Vigar bot lane as a support. My only reason why is because he is so slow when it comes to like even trying to put up the cage. Like, you need some assistance. Like, you're not gonna get a
that
solo,
literally
like,
is the
especially
only
high elo.
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you're not gonna like, especially in high elo, you're not gonna get like a single person in the cage without like at least a slow or something. That's what I
Yeah.
think. Like that's why I was like having fun, like making some teams. Like for example, like you know how Senna Nasus used to be popular before. How about some
Yeah.
Veigar Nasus duo?
Stacking
Yeah.
team.
That sort of
good
sounds
point.
like a bad idea.
my personal opinion on Vega is just that he's bad. Like doesn't
Yeah.
scale nearly as fast enough as he does on PC.
Yeah.
Like if you just look at the amount of stacks he gets at a certain time threshold compared to PC,
Yeah.
like he's just way stronger on PC.
Yeah. But like about the stack thing, when you're playing Veigar support, you don't your strategy isn't to kill people, it's just to poke and zone people off and team. It's so easy to get objectives because you can just zone them away from the Drake or the Herald or the Baron. And it's less about getting kills and more just utility. And like that's all you are as Veigar support. You're just a utility.
Then who do you ban as Veigar support then? Like what do you
I would
consider like the
ban-
worst?
The worst matchup, usually I don't ban any other supports. I just ban someone like Vayne or an ADC that can get up close to me really fast.
Wouldn't you want like a Vayne because she's very like
Yeah.
she has like
She's weak.
she's short range.
She has short range, but that's the thing with Veigar. Like in the early game, you can't one shot anybody, and if they get close, you're dead. And
Can
a
you
lot
one
of the
shot
time,
anybody in late game on support?
Yeah, that's another question.
you can.
Like it just sounds like you don't get any stacks.
Yeah.
It feel like the idea doesn't feel like it, but it like you get just about as much stacks as you do just playing mid. And so like you can still one shot people in the late game and all like that, but in the late it's just slower stacking. It's just a little slower. And so when you're in lane, if they can get up close to you, especially if your ADC sucks and they just like don't help at all, like if they get close to you, you're dead because Veigar has no escape. Like even if you have a flash, it's really hard. And so like matchups like Vayne, or like if you want to ban a support, like ban Thresh, Blitzcrank, like anybody that can pull you in or get to you fast is a bad matchup for it.
Honestly, like I wouldn't even ban Thread. I think I would just ban Blitzcrank worst of all, just because
I always ban
Blitzcrank,
Blitzcrank, like no matter what.
could just hook you. But like Jackson said before, that his stacking is very bad in World of Rift compared to PC League.
It is,
and I don't think support Vigar is viable, just because that in mid lane you also kill enemies with your abilities, right? That gives you also stacks, correct?
Well,
and if you're forfeiting,
the reason it works just as good in mid, like support as mid, because you have two different champions that you can poke. And most of the time, they're not going to know how to deal with a Veigar because they're not used to playing against a Veigar. And so you can usually poke them and get like 10 stacks a minute as support, which I mean, that's good. Like even if you're playing mid, like that's pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm still not I'm not sold about the idea. Like I understand your logic, I understand that, but
I understand like you it's really something you have to try before like just thinking like thinking it sucks or not, because like I did too, because like I had a friend who did it and that's why I tried it, because he said it was good and I was like, no, it's really not. But then I tried it and I got like 20 wins in a row with like just like playing, just like I wasn't even trying to do something specific. I was just playing Veigar.
Okay,
Just-
I'll try it out because
Yeah.
I'm still not sold just because how I'm just
Now-
viewing it, like from a high elo perspective. Like
now,
I'm
if you
still
want
not sold on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like I'm just a diamond player, and so like it works there. I don't know if it would work in higher elo, but if you do want something that probably will work, do a ASOL support.
Okay, I think that's just
It's
too
so
far now.
stupid.
Like,
It's so
like,
stupid.
I think
It's
that's
so
it, guys.
stupid.
yeah, yeah,
It's so
yeah.
stupid, but it
No,
works. I don't know why it works, but it works.
I think the only
Especially-
reason.
I mean, I would honestly play like Thresh into it. I guess Rakan is
Yeah,
Anything.
on PC
any-
countered to
Yeah.
by Vega because of Cage.
Like-
but even Wildrift, I'll probably still pick Rakan confidently into it. Rakan,
Yeah.
Thresh, anything, because
Yeah.
you're not gonna get a lot of
There's
gold
so
on
many-
support.
there's so many counters to it, but like if you pick it in the right matchup, which would I would say like the right matchup would be like maybe like an enchanter like Lulu or someone like that who doesn't have a lot of CC, because like if you don't get caught out, like that's the only thing. And then like you're really close to the dragon, you can rotate to mid all the time. It's just really good, like in my opinion.
So that's what I was thinking. We're not giving it the ability to roam, right? So Aurelion Sol is probably the best roamer in the game.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say that it won't work. I will actually go and try it. I like Aurelion Sol, and I will go play him support, and I will report back next week what we find out.
Yeah.
I will tell you now that it will not be a good report. The only report you'll get is from the league client, and probably will get banned.
What really
for
works?
support.
what really works? It's kind of iffy. It's an iffy strategy since Senna's nerf, but if you play fasting Senna with Aurelion support, like it's so annoying because you basically Aurelion clears the wave. So it would basically be Senna support with Aurelion bot, or like however you want to say it. But like you just clear the wave and then you back and come back, and then like you don't even need to back because you can just step back and then use Senna's Wraith form to get a bigger star without even having to like back. And it works so well because most of the time you can clear the wave and then retreat, and then they'll try to push forward, and then you just come back with a humongous star and they can't escape.
I wonder, would the Wraith form hide the star since it?
I don't think it does.
obscures-
I don't think it does because when I tried it with my friend, every time I played the star, I'd go out of Wraith mode, but I'd still have the movement boost.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay. Well then. All right. I appreciate you coming on. I guess if you're good, we'll head to the next person. I'll bring
I'm pretty
Potato
good.
in.
Yeah,
Thank
just
you
try
for joining.
those. Try those.
I'll try the
like,
Aurelion.
That's the whole point. Like I'm not giving you things that I know are good. I'm just giving you things that I think are fun to play.
Gotcha. I will play Aurelion Sol, Justin, if you play Vigar on stage. On stage.
I'm actually trying to win my tournaments. I'm not trying to throw them.
Trust me, just build a Winter's approach. Spam your spells in team fights, and you're good. You're good. Just zone people.
I'll let Jackson or Toki try before I do. Yeah, don't want to throw my.
Like I said, I already tried Vega mid lane, and I also tried tank Vega, so I'm already biased.
They're intimidating. They're really intimidating picks. But I swear, when you try them, they are so much fun. They are so rewarding, and it's just amazing to see people's reactions too. Like whenever I play Aurelion as a support, my entire team flames me, but then I carry the match, and they're like, okay, now we got to try this.
We're gonna do a queue
that's
after
all I
this.
got.
We're gonna do a queue after this.
Yes.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
So, back to us four. Just wanted to say, if anybody wants to come and join the Discord server, the link will be down in the description. Justin has his Discord server going, and there is a really popular server out there called Wild Rifty. It's ran by Lou. She is awesome. I will link that in the description as well. So I just wanted to shout out some people there. If you're good, Azure, I'll bring on Potato next. And pull him in here. Potato, what's up? I don't know if you can hear us.
Yeah, I can. Hello, guys.
Hello,
Few heads up. I'm from Europe, so English is not my native language, and I'm really shy. But I might turn on my camera a bit later. So yeah, hello, guys.
What's up? Hello.
What's
What is
up?
your meta pick?
My off-meta pick or meta pick?
Off meta, I guess that's what the title says.
Yeah, it's
so
off meta.
like, okay, I'll turn on the camera. Like it's awkward without camera, actually. Yeah. So my like, I just want to say that recently, like by recently I mean in the last 2 days, I saw Kaiser Jungle twice in high elo.
Oh, hi, Elo. Never mind.
Yeah, and yeah, and the thing is that both times it worked like really, really well, and I was like trying to think why, and like the idea I got, why should it like why is it working, is that basically we don't really have a lot of range jungles, if you have any actually. Like I didn't really give a thought about it, but and I do think that like any jungler main will probably agree with me that if you like want to do a productive gang, you want to have like usually you want to have red, you know, when you're doing it, because like since the okay, hello Kitty, since the lane is, you know, so short, I think it's really easy, you know, to just apply the slow on the target, and it's like pretty much one shot, you know, fucking situation. I'm sorry for the swear word. Please. So yeah, and you know, when you are range champion, like applying that slow with the red from the red buff is even easier. So I think that's why it works. And I had like the idea about, you know, Kindred on PC League, and I think Kaisa kind of shares few similarities with that, because like Kindred, I believe with her Q skill has, you know, some sort of gap closer. For Kaisa, it would be probably E skill. You know, the speed up of attack speed. So like if you just run into the lane, you know, sped up, start blasting with increased attack speed, applying red, it's really easy to catch up for, you know, for your laner. So I think that's why it works. And also when you think about the when you think about the jungle clear, it's also quite fast, I'd say, with our passive. So I want to hear, you know, hear some opinions from you guys about that.
So I was actually playing Kaiser Jungle the other day. I thought the clear was a little bit slow on the initial clear, but thinking about it, if you are able to have a laner be able to tag somebody with crowd control, you can join that fight from 2 screens away, pretty much on Kai'Sa. So it's almost like an instant person being there. It's like a twisted fate in a sense. I actually think it's really strong, but where would you actually pick her? I don't know if Justin, you were on the team at the time when we scrimmed Cloud9 and Tarzan played Ezreal jungle.
Yes,
And
I was there.
Shit all over us.
We don't talk about it. It was
Yeah.
Yes, if you're from EU and like, you know, I know on Twitter there's been like some beef going on a few months ago from NA versus EU and whatever. But you know, just listening to Ezreal Jungle, how does he want to clear Raptors? You know, he just sits there for like 10 ages or what?
I don't know how they did it. They just did it. But
like Ezreal Jungle on PC was relying on different stuff that I don't think works in Wild Rift.
How do you feel about Kai'Sa jungle?
I mean, her clear speed, like first clear, like you said, I don't think her first clear is that great, because I'm thinking like what pathing do you go? A passive helps you with first buff, so if you start red, go red Raptors, and you're kind of slow on Raptors, I think.
I'd say in that case you just skip Raptors, no? Like about the slow clearing speed, like for now, like at this moment, like Fiora Jungle is probably more meta than Fiora top lane, and we first saw that in I'm not sure
both is
in
good, yeah.
Korean scene or what, but like it, we saw Fiora Jungle. It was like a surprise for everyone. Like now in Europe, Fiora is pretty much 100% banner pick, and like usually she goes jungle, and she also, you could say, has quite a slow, jungle clear. And that, like for example, Ezreal in that case would probably rely on his passive. Like if he keeps spamming, skills, especially with blue buff, with some cooldown reduction, like he can really stack up his passive and just blast with auto attacks basically. And actually, just right now, I actually remembered about the Darkbreaker, the really popular YouTuber and streamer. I'm pretty sure he went like a few months ago, like he was blasting Ezreal jungle and he found a lot of success. And the thing is, what he did, and others followed him also. I think it was that he just like ignores mana immune and the whole mana stacking for a while, and he just rushes Blade of the Ruin King, I believe. So like you really capitalize on attack speed, and then with smite buffs for the jungle monster damage, like you just blast everyone with hot attacks and with really high attack speed. I think it was something like that.
Okay, so from what I remember, from the scrim from versus Cloud9 when Tarzan played Ezreal Jungle, I think he started blue buff, and then rotate down to red, took Krugs, and then they had also a really strong 2v2 bot lane where he just sat bot lane, pushed the wave in, and then rotated or forced the 3-man rotate towards top side, and then played like around lane and took lane experience where he just got too far ahead to the point where like our jungler just got too far behind, and then which made it work because that red buff with Ezreal actually makes ganks really easy with the slow, and I don't know why it worked, but like they just made it work, and I don't know if that's because we were worse at the time, but my experience with Ezreal Jungle that it's actually viable in a sense, but I don't know about Kaiser Jungle, to be honest. I think Kaiser Jungle is a bit pushing it just because and she doesn't have that dive or initiation that Ezreal can just E in, I guess. Although she does have her ultimate, I don't think Kaiser Jungle is that good.
To me, like honestly, Kaiser just sounds like a better version of Ezreal Jungle, no?
I think
Like
it
Ezreal
does.
Jungle sounds in general. So the problem I have with ranged junglers is how do you want to clear Krugs reliably? How do you want to clear Raptors and Wolves? So
Yeah.
you just have like the melee is, so when let's say you play Jarvan or whatever, you clear red buff, you EQ the Raptors whatever, and the small Raptors all die relatively quickly because of your AoE auto attack splash damage. But on ranged champions, you even on Kaiser, you can Q maybe once or twice before you finish the camp, maybe 3 times. And I'm not sure if it just kills the small Raptors, and even if you have enough like passive procs on the big Raptor, you're still stuck auto attacking each of the small Raptors like multiple times.
So I will personally say, because I actually did a jungle pathing clearing guide as Kaisa, so it's on my YouTube channel. But I started red. I went to Krugs next. Normally, with most champions, I can clear wraiths in time for first Scuttle Crab. I could not, so Scuttle Crab had about a 3 or 4 second spawn on it. So, like I said, it's slow, but I would imagine you would pick it in a composition where maybe you have an AP carry bot lane and you need some AD damage. That might work. I don't know. I'm not the professional here. You guys are the professionals, so I'm just gonna shut up.
I mean, I'm just gonna say Kaiser Jungle is kind of like bad.
Yeah.
I mean, so is Ezreal Jungle. Like, even if you talk composition wise, you kind of want to have an engage on most of your compositions. You know, you kind of want like frontliners, otherwise you're just gonna get screwed by RETF, whatever, like any CC. And if you don't have, or if you're playing squishy mid, squishy AD carry, top laner some like bruiser, whatever, and then you have like super squishy ranged jungle, kind of makes it hard for the bruiser to like either engage and get some follow up because you have 3 ranged people potentially. They just sit behind him. And yeah, like clear speed, everything. I guess it makes some sense on paper, but if you just compare it to like, I don't know, Lee Sin, Kha'Zix, Fiora, whatever, I think it's quite clear that's just a bit
Yeah,
suspicious.
like what Jackson said, I think personally, I don't think it's because it's strong. It's because they got ahead. That's my opinion because in theory, it doesn't really work just because sure you can go like let's say Kaiser Jungle, right? But ADC they skill over time. They don't like if you just pump gold into it, yeah, they're gonna carry. But like over time, just by themselves, they're not gonna do like the same as like a Lee Sin, right? They're not gonna do the same as like a Kha'Zix or whatever, right? And I think it's very dependent on the communication of the team. That's my opinion on
Do you
how like what's up.
do you think that you could, because we're kind of talking about, do you think you could set up a funnel strategy with an AD carry? Because I mean, I've seen Vayne work. We've seen Tarzan play Vayne before in the jungle. I think he played it on the main stage. Can you set up a funnel strategy like you would with Master Yi with an AD carry jungler?
I mean, why would you pick anything over Master Yi or Jax or Yasuo in that case then? Why would you pick a ranged one? If
Because
Yasuo just scales
true.
faster, you know, if you're gonna funnel him, you just play, I don't know, Yumi, Lulu, whatever. You just play Yasuo who just scales better than Kai'Sa. And
I think
screws
I can
quicker.
understand why they would pick Vayne, just because Vayne, like I think in my opinion, Vayne's the best kiting ADC, and that's just my opinion, just because of how much mobility she can have, how she can just pop in and out and just burst people with her passive.
I guess
That's
that's
what I
true, yeah.
I think that's what
Yeah, I think
that's why
everyone
they
would
choose
agree.
that. Yeah, so like let's say Master Yi, right? This comes like out for strikes, and if a Vayne ults and this Q's just walks around invisible, Master Yi can't do anything. And if he gets stunned, he's just dead. He's literally just dead. If the Vayne has items. So I think that's why Tarzan and that's why like all these people are picking like for example Vayne, right? I think it's only Tarzan who picked Vayne jungle, right? But like for the most part, I don't think it should be viable. But hey, if you want to make a funnel strat, you could, but it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work in my opinion, just because of how the composition works.
Okay, like I about the funnel composition, like I have this idea. Like for example, if composition calls for like specific AP carry champion in Dragon Lane, but also like you see a really good opportunity to just abuse Yumi for some reason. Like I don't have like the full composition and draft in my mind, but like in that case, you could just leave wave clearing AP carry in Dragon Lane, and you can help AD carry jungle funnel in that way. But I also as I saw in the chat, funnel composition for Graves. Like in that case, Graves or even same Jax Mastery as you mentioned, like would work just as well. So yeah, I would just say that AD carry jungle is not actually really that viable in that case. But I really like the Kingsmaker. As he said, like with a good CC in the lane, you can really just come in the lane, with Kai'Sa's, for example, Kai'Sa's ultimate, similarly to like Twisted Fate's ultimate. So like it's a really like explosive, appearance and high burst, especially if it applies, because it also applies Kai'Sa stacks on the target.
Gotcha. So I guess did you have anything else, Potato?
Yeah, because of the chat, somebody mentioned Ashe support. Yeah, we actually did that in the scrim. We also copied it from Asia scene, but we did in the scrim the composition with Arya mid lane, Vi jungle, and Ashe support. We didn't have a lot of items like we do now, but what we did back then, the build looked like Black Cleaver into
Oh, I know what you're talking
Soul
about.
Stealer or something. I don't remember that item. Like I think that item should be removed from the game. But the thing is that like with 2 items and the right runes, you had 20 seconds Ashe cooldown, and with Vi in the jungle and R in the mid lane, like we were just picking champions left and right like every 20 seconds. So it really helped us, just snowball in the early game. So I think Ashe support is actually quite a good off-meta pick, especially now, since we have Font of Life rune. Back then we didn't have that, but now we do. So it's also like really good and helpful in the lane.
All right, so I'm gonna start picking Ashe.
Yeah, I think in a pick comp, Ashe can be very good. My only worry is that if you guys aren't able to get picks and aren't like kind of ahead in lane, then it kind of like falls off in a sense. And if the ADC is good enough, she shouldn't ever be hit with Ashe ultimate, especially if she has QSS. So I don't know. I think Ashe support is okay, but I feel like it's like maybe like a C tier or like even a D tier type of support.
Yeah, but the thing was that like we were not going for picks in the dragon lane. Like we were looking for picks in top lane, because it was basically just across the map snipes. And like right now, especially when like roaming supports are in meta, like roaming with Ashe, I think it's even easier to actually go for those picks. So yeah, and as I said, like you have Vi jungle and Ahri mid lane, so it's like really easy to pile on the person.
I have a question. It's kind of on the topic because it's Ashe. But do any of you feel like it's easier to just fire her arrow and not look and hit it than it is to actually try to control the damn thing? I can never hit it when I control the arrow. I don't know what it is.
You should
Controlling
definitely
is way
control your
better.
own.
You should
Yeah,
control
yeah,
it. You should control it.
Controlling
Don't worry
is
about it.
just better.
I don't know. I just can't do it. This is
Um,
probably why I'm platinum.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I have a new topic. Hold up. I don't know if you guys are interested, but in the NA scene, Sentinel is the only team that I know that has done this. Shout out to Send Rest, and he has been playing a lot of TF ADC, and I can't wrap my head around how is that viable. Like I don't understand. Like I get it because if you just build AD, right, you can just get the cards, the third passive, right, and then you can just TP, get free cards, right? But like, how is that like viable against other ADCs?
No, like I think the idea just revolves around his E attack speed buff. It's I think 50% or whatever, and they changed it to flatten all levels. I think a few patches ago. So you just play like I don't know what people go. Like I've seen people in solo queue go Borg Wit's End or whatever. So you play like attack speed on hit TF, but yeah, his mobility is kind of bad, but I guess in solo queue it works for sure. Like you just gold card people, you play like APTF with the utility, but you have more DPS, and you get a lot more gold than you would usually get on AD carries because of his passive.
Got it. Okay. Well, I guess with there, we'll drop Potato off and bring in the last one. By the way, if anybody has an extra Twitch account, go follow Potato on Twitch. He's like a couple subs off from being partnered. He is a pro player. I think he's. Are you still playing pro? Or are you looking for a team?
I'd say it's 50-50 situation right now. I'm actively looking for a team, but I'm subbing in for one at this moment.
Gotcha. And he coaches on Pro Guides, so go look him up there. He's got a lot of good reviews. I think he's got 11 reviews, and all of them are 5-star. So I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys.
Yes, sir.
See ya.
See you.
All right, back to 4. Someone said something about Shyvana middle kind of slaps. What do you guys think about that?
Oh no.
Like, how do you even last it? Honestly, the E cooldown doesn't get reduced if you max E. And I say
God.
that as a Shyvana, I was top 10 Shyvana on this server playing her jungle.
Wait, I have a question. With that mid pick, is it AP Shyvana, Elise, or is it just like AD, this bruiser, Shyvana?
Or someone saying that was a joke.
Okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't believe
Okay.
him.
Oh, okay. Well, one
Oh
of
my
my
God.
viewers are saying Rammus support slaps cheeks. I want your guys' thoughts on Rammus support now.
I literally I can't see it. Like don't get me wrong. I understand the premise of it because you're basically playing lockdown, but you're better off picking Galio, in my opinion, than this Rammus support, because you got to go all the way around the minion just to get to the target, right? And
No,
with Galio,
it's another joke, guys. I think we're getting like clowned in chat.
We're getting trolled. God. You know, it's my fault. I set up the atmosphere as a fun environment instead of a serious debate and conversation. So I apologize.
no, it's fine. It's fine. I just find it fun.
Yeah. You know, I could see a world where Rammus support works. You know, you run Aftershock, you run the Righteous Glory enchant, and you just like are running down the aid carry over and over, and you're just stalling her out. Like if it's a Caitlyn ADC into a Rammus, it's almost impossible to play because she doesn't do enough damage to kill him, and it's like stalling so much time for your team. But
I mean, but then after that, what do you do? Like, you can just go in, right? You can, let's just say hypothetically, you can knock, yeah, you
you're
just
just
knock
dying over and
them.
over. But like
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Why would
Yeah,
you
you
play
just run it
Rammus
down.
support when you have to like roll around the whole wave to get to your opponent when you have like champions that just gap close immediately, like Rakan, Thresh, whatever?
Yeah, he does have good roam potential though. Like I mean, good ganks. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
like,
true.
yeah, he does have, like, let's say you go like Dead Man's Play first item, Ghost Rammus, right? And you just run from bot lane all the way to mid lane. Yeah, it can make sense, but I think you just waste too much resources just to get a single like taunt or something like that. Because you got to go all the way around, right, into the enemy's minion wave, whatever, right, and just to get one taunt, right. And if they just flash, you just did that for nothing. I mean, it sounds good, like that idea sounds good on paper, but nah, I don't think it's good. I think you might as well just go Galio if you want to taunt support.
Yeah, Galio just sounds like a better version.
All right. Real quick, because this is like this is actually legitimate. Tristana Mid. How do you guys feel about Tristana Mid?
It's not
My-
trolls, like playable, very playable.
Yeah, yeah,
If
it's
not
very-
just good, if you're good on Tristana, you know, you just scale to late game. You know her trading pattern, like her 1v1 surprisingly strong, even on side lanes. If you just have like E, you would go probably like BF sword into static shift and then finish IE, like you would on AD carry too. And you just scale, and if you play like good late game, good positioning, I think you just carry the game. It's just like Ezreal, like my Ezreal pick, I assume.
Gotcha.
I think is very good. I'm not gonna say like jump the gun, right? Say if it's super good, but it sounds good on paper, just on how Tristana works. And if you know how to play her, yeah, I think it can work mid lane. Side lanes, like top lane, I think it can also work since range matchups against melee, they have to respect the range most of the time, right? So I can see it I can see it working just because of how Tristana's kit works.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I've played against one before and it hurt pretty bad. So I mean, she's been picked a lot. Well, I don't want to say a lot recently, but in the past she's been picked on League of Legends. I did play Aurelion Sol into a Tristana mid lane, and early I got absolutely destroyed. So I guess it is viable, or I'm just bad. But this was smurfing, so it's probably just bad. So. All right.
Nice.
With that being said, let's pull in, I guess, our last guest, unless anybody else wants to join us. Azure Demon. What's up, man? Let me kick you out of Discord just in case. Disconnect. Hello?
How about this? Now, can you guys hear me?
There we go. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just had to
now we
kick you
can
out
hear
of
you.
Discord.
What's up, man?
All right, so I just wanted to touch on what you guys were saying about like the Kaiser Jungle. I think that the big point of the off meta picks is that they're kind of unexpected, and obviously the higher level of play that you get, you should be able to know how to play against most things. But like with Kaiser, the mobility she gets from her third ability, you can outplay a lot of junglers. And obviously, if you're getting like invaded early and they're higher level of play, it can make you pretty useless. But if they do get ahead, which is kind of the point of the off meta picks, like if you're really good at that champion and you can pull it off, it can work. That doesn't mean that there's not something that's more consistent and safe.
I agree. I do agree.
I want to point out one of the comments. Somebody said Navi top laner plays Soraka top.
Oh, Soraka.
Okay,
Look,
yeah,
it's been
I
done.
can vouch for. Yeah, I can
I
vouch for
played with
that.
V, like I played a tournament with him, and he was picking like Darius, Renekton, and Camille, whatever. So he wasn't playing Soraka top. And I'm also not sure if he actually played Soraka top or Soraka support. I do know that he spammed a lot of Soraka though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can vouch for Soraka top because I have faced a Soraka top before, and it's like as a Renekton, it's very fucking annoying. Like her like basically, it's like she pressures you a lot, and you can't really do anything because if you like jump on her, she can just put her silence field on top of herself. So let's say you try to like say EW, right? And you W before that, yeah, you can do that, but you can't get out. So she can just out trade you if you try to all in her. And I think is actually a sleeper good pick, actually.
I agree with like what everyone's saying. Honestly, I haven't played much of Soraka top lane or support. The only time I've actually played her is in the mid lane, where I face off against like Renekton and like all these like bully mid laners, and somehow like I out trade them most of the time. And it's weird because I think it only works if you have a really strong like jungler like Olaf or like a Xin Zhao, where like they're tanky and like bruisery enough for like you can heal them and just keep on fighting over and over, and you actually win almost 90% of the scuttle fights as long as they don't jump on top of you. It's a strong pick. I probably shouldn't say this, but like I think in the next coming qualifiers, it's a pick that we might pick up. So you just watch out and get ready for it.
But I gotta text Bonsai right now. Oh man.
So
NA is gonna get flamed even more. Guys already got flamed for Corki Black Cleaver. If you go Soraka top in a serious game and like say, oh, if they don't jump on me, then like it's a good pick, you know. But like Lee said exists and everything.
So what happens
Twitter's
if
gonna
you
get wild?
what happens if you pick Soraka top with Black Cleaver?
I don't know. I think Twitter will explode.
All right.
is that
So
bannable?
we know what you guys need to do. Soraka top, Black Cleaver. I'm counting on you, Toki.
I have a quick question for Jackson. How
Yeah.
far, or do you think there's a huge gap between North America and Europe right now in competitive scene?
I mean, I've worked before, and I'm working with the ex-coach of Tribe during Horizon Cup.
Yeah.
Like Lesox, and I've watched also some NA games. Like I've watched 16-bit games. I've watched the Cloud9 games.
This is a big question.
I don't want to be too rude, but okay, EU is also not super mechanically good, honestly. Like there's a lot of room to improve on, but like NA, you also saw it at Horizon Cup. They just lose every single fight against the good teams, Korea's, Southeast Asia, and China teams. And just by looking from the play, I think not a lot has changed since Horizon Cup.
I think there's a big gap, right? So like EU's here, NA's like up here, so there's definitely a big gap.
Well, I think you reverted your scale.
Yeah, but you know what? I was using standard, not metric. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what you NA people use. You know, like you use your feet as measurement or something.
You're absolutely right. Azure, did Demon, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about off meta?
I wanted to talk about my. I've got an off meta pick.
Yes.
I don't think it's viable in high elo. I haven't tested it yet, but I've been really liking the Singed Jungle.
Oh, I've tried it. I've actually played Singed a lot on my like Master Smurf before Liandry's got nerfed. And it's like a decent champion. Like the way you play it is you can even take champion, right? So you go ignite flash or whatever. You shove level 1 and then, but not so hard that it goes on a turret. You shove you like slowly push level 1 to get level 2, and then you cheese him with like QE and ignites. Because like
Yeah, but I'm
he's
going
level 2.
Ghost Ignite. in the jungle.
Yeah, the problem I had with Singe in the jungle is that he just clears really slow, even if you're ahead.
Start wraiths and then go red Krugs. You have a timer where you can take the scuttle crab, possibly invade if the enemies are like slow. You could catch the enemy at their blue buff, and your smite will be up for that. So you could wrap around with ghost and potentially steal, or take scuttle back, do wolves and blue in your level 5 with everything ready to either gank or keep pressuring. It's kind of a niche pick. But
So I see 2 problems with it. So the first path is what you said. You go Raptor start is not troll. Raptor start is actually legit. Raptors,
Yeah.
red Crux into Scuttle, and then you say you could invade. But like that works on every champion that clears half decent, right? So Jarvan does this with like, I don't know, 10 seconds to spare or something. Lee Sin does this also before Scuttle spawn. Like Camille does this with 5 or 10 seconds to spare. Jax, who has a quite slow first clear, even does this on time. Like, I guess you kind of have to assume that people don't arrive at Scuttle at minute 2 in solo queue, depending on what your elo is. So, and the second point was, I think if you want to full clear to level 5, it makes more sense to start Crux red into Raptors, because then you can immediately walk to Wolves, blue buff, Gromp. Because that's what Nova did in the first WRL when they played Kill Jungle. So they would do the opposite. They start Kill Jungle, Gromp, blue, Wolves, and they just full clear like Raptors, red, Crux, reset, and then do it again.
I haven't tested that out. I found that wraiths into red you clear pretty healthily, and then you can rotate from Krugs and then either look to invade or go for the scuttle. But I'll try that.
Awesome. Yeah, no, and Azure's working on a series on YouTube called what is it? I blanking on it.
So fast it's toxic.
So fast it's toxic, where he's just spamming Singe Jungle all the way. So check it out. I guess with that being said, we're up on an hour. Some honorable mentions that I forgot. Evelyn Mid. This way you can roam to side lanes invisibly. Evelyn bot lane support. This way you can roam to mid lane invisibly. Evelyn also top lane to counter Sett. I'm not sure if that's true. I'm just making stuff up at this point. So with that being said, do you guys want to wrap the show up here? Well, Graves ADC. I've seen this one pop up quite a bit. Graves ADC. What do you think? Go.
Bad.
Bad, yes. Also bad, yes.
Rengar or
never
Lee
seen
Sin
it.
support.
Doesn't
Bad
sound
too.
insanely good or logical to me. But
So
Yeah,
old
it makes
Graves,
sense.
old Graves before the reload was fine, but that was like season 4 League PC. So
yeah, I don't even know the new Grace, by the way. Didn't even know him before I started Wild Rift. So I still remember the old Grace where you could play him as AD carry. But yeah, new one, I don't know, his attack range is kind of
Yeah,
low.
the new one. Yeah, no.
Let's-
Just because how short, like Gracie, you basically have to go into them, right? Because you got to save stacks on your grit. You have to basically play like a close bruiser just to make it like use all your damage, because your auto attacks are like a shotgun pellets, right? And the closer you are, the more damage you do. If I remember correctly, I'm not sure on the Graves because I haven't touched that champion a lot.
You need
What I
to hit
do
more
know-
of it, but yeah, it makes what you said is essentially correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so you basically have to play almost melee range in order to maximize your damage. And with 80 carries, you just have to just go back and kite and just poke them, they back up. That's why I think it's horrible.
Toki, one last one for you. Zen Zhao top.
Oh my god. For some reason, like I have seen people inside the C9 in-house. They've been trying, like I know this one guy has been trying Zen Zhao top. My opinion is that I think it's actually end. In my opinion, I think it's actually like I can see it because it does surprisingly like hurt. But if you don't got a lead, then you just lose like tempo, like real fast. Like you can cheese like let's say level 2, level 3, just because of how Xin Zhao works. But if the top laner is smart and doesn't challenge you and plays around your W or whatever like that, right? Literally, Xin Zhao is nothing.
I actually had one more question for Toki.
What's up?
So we faced off in the Fight Night tournament. My top laner is asking like, what was it like to play against him, and like, what could he have done to like do better if there was anything else?
What game
'Cause
was
he
that?
did-
Sorry.
think you were
What was it playing?
You were playing Jason to Darius.
Jason to Darius. If you're trying to maximize, like, let's say you're playing Darius, right? You're trying to like against Jace. It's very hard to like fight him before level 5, just because of how Jace works, and he's basically just poke. You try to trade, he just dumps his whole combo into you and just like knocks you away and tries to run. That's mostly how Jace works. So if you're trying to improve and you're playing Darius, honestly, just let the Jace try to push the wave. If not, then basically what you have to do is just literally just go in for farm and just back off, because you're gonna heal off from fleet footwork and second wind. Don't try to engage on the Jace. Let the Jace engage onto you, because he needs to engage onto you from melee range, right? He can't just walk up and just range you, because he just loses a lot of value if he does that. So, and just be patient, because it's not about just like instant like killing the top laner, right, and winning the lane. It's about survival.
I saw that game and I was watching the replay back, and I think Darius was like 6-1 at this point. And I don't know if you got mad, Toki, but you just said not today, and you just jumped on this dude and you killed him, and that's scary to do as against a 6-1 Darius.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but like yeah, the reason why, because if you know your champion's strength, right, and you absolutely know if you can just kill him or not, yeah, you can. Anything's possible if you know your champion. And I don't remember if I killed him or not. I don't remember.
You did. It was close. It was close. Like he was 6-1. So I mean, it was scary.
Yeah, he was like 30 HP, and then hitting your tower, and then you were just like wailing on him the whole time, and then you finally like were so close to kill him, and then like everyone's just like 1 HP, and then you like auto attack him, and then like you barely get away with it. It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, if you know your champion, right? If you know your champion and what they can do. And sorry, someone's trying to give me a call. We can be right back.
Yep.
I think the main points in the matchup he already pointed out. So you run fleet if you think you can play the lane, and against Jace it could be really hard. You play fleet, you play second wind. Every time he auto attacks you, you just like walk back, let him take mini aggro, and then let him slow push with the mini aggro. So like, if he leashes, I guess you can shove wave 1 and then let waves 2 and 3 slow push into you and hope that the jungler doesn't dive you. And otherwise, just like always farm on the turrets, you're just fine with second wind and fleet.
Okay, got it.
Gotcha. I'm not sure if Techi's back yet.
Yeah. Okay. Hello. Can you hear me?
Welcome. Yep. Welcome back.
Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yes. If you know your champion and you know your limits, and is basically you gotta analyze the situation, and if you're able to know and you feel confident enough to do it, then go for it. But just don't be overconfident. That's like my tip. Because you don't want to go in and then you just completely forgot there's another team on the other team, and then you just got ganked by the jungler or something like that.
Awesome. All right. So real quick, I'm just gonna drop Azure. Thank you for coming on. I didn't want it to go too long. I know it's late for you guys in Europe, so real quick, do y'all want to plug social medias?
Yeah, sure. Wait, let me find I have a link tree with everything there, so that you have everything at one spot, and also I don't have to I'll send it to you on Discord so you can send it here.
Okay. Toki, do you have anybody?
Yeah.
Do you have anywhere that you want people to follow you at? I know we follow each other now on Twitter, which I
Yeah.
still haven't figured out how to use. So
I can just give my Twitter because I'm actually considering starting to stream soon.
okay.
Not right now, but like coming up in the future, I'm planning on streaming. So I can just give my Twitter right now
Okay.
if you like.
Yeah, if you type it in the private chat, I will put it in my chat. But yeah, no, I definitely appreciate you guys coming on. This was a lot longer than the last episode. Typically people tend to tune out after like the 45-minute range to an hour. It's a little bit different when you pull it off video and put it on podcast. People will listen for a little bit longer of time there, so I don't want to burn people out. So hopefully you guys had a great time. I know I did. I appreciate each of you for coming on. Justin, I appreciate you for always being there for me and never letting me down.
Of course, always be there, dude.
And never giving me up. Never running around and deserting me. Sorry. I had to try to get somebody back with a Rick roll for like trolling us in chat, so hopefully it worked.
Thank
For
you.
each of what's in oh, okay. You responded back to them.
Yeah, it was fun.
Gotcha. Toki, where is it at, man?
Oh, it's right. I'm trying to find it. Just give me a second, because I had to go to the app.
Hold on. Twitter. Tter.com. You followed me. Oh no, I don't know how to do this on desktop. Notifications. Toki.
Okay,
Here
do
we
I
go.
just send it to your DMs?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
Follow Toki at
T.
There we go. There we go.
Capital T. Yeah, thanks.
Yep. Got it. All right, man. I appreciate you guys. And we'll wrap it up there. Anybody else watching, subscribe, do all the good stuff, donate to Justin because that's what he does. He's a Twitch streamer. I don't know. And he's a pro player, and pro players don't make any money unless they win, and we'll leave it there. So we'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.